93 Boxing, back with a quick video. Errol Spence came into the scene. He was in the Olympics here in London, and I watched one fight when he was in the Olympics. Not there in live, just watched on TV. I think it was on TV. I don't know if it was... I think it was on TV. I think it was Errol Spence. He was southpaw. I think it was, but either way, right? He came into the scene. This guy was like a fucking assassin looking for you. When like some criminals want some person dead and shit. Errol Spence is like that, trying to look for all the world champions to be hunted down, man down, like he tries to say. He couldn't get the Thurman fights. Like, you know what, fuck it. If I can get Thurman, I'll get someone else. He tried to kill Brook, right? And it made it very difficult. They were trying to pretend like they didn't know what Errol Spence was, like a killed Team Brook, right? So actually, they didn't even mention Errol Spence, I don't think, before Triple G. This guy here's the thing, right? Errol Spence was so scary to them. This guy who fought Sean Porter afterwards kept the title hostage. He fought his mandatory Jojo Dan, who I gave a pass for because it's a mandatory and you were stabbed. Then he fought Frankie Gavin, who was not his mandatory. Frankie Gavin's a bum. I mean, look, he's a good fighter, but compared to a boxing level, he's really a bum. And I'm not trying to disrespect him. But then he fought Kevin Basically, like, Frankie Gavin does not belong on that level. And then he fought fucking Kevin Basically, who actually got knocked out by Jojo Dan. Kell Brook knocked out Jojo Dan on a stabbing injury, right? Coming off a stabbing injury. And then he's fighting a guy who he knocked out after a stabbing injury, and this guy who he knocked out after a stabbing injury knocked out another guy, or at least beat another guy, and the another guy that so basically a bum. Kevin Busy is a bum that got beat twice by the bum that Kell Brook has already beat, if that makes sense. All of a sudden, right? Because Kell Brook avoided the Diego Chavez fight, avoided the Jesse Vargas fight, avoided the Brandon Rios fight. I mean, this guy seems to be avoiding all kinds of fights just for bum fights. Full-fledged bums on his resume. And guess what? When Errol Spence becomes the mandatory, this guy ran up, ducked to 160. He just took a guy. Here you have this guy who's never taken chances in his career, all of a sudden fighting Golovkin. Like, it's... Errol Spence made him do some shit, bro. Amir Khan and Errol Spence made him do that shit. I mean, I don't think Kell Brook would have fought Golovkin if Khan didn't fight Canelo. But man, I don't think Kell Brook would have fought Golovkin if Errol Spence was in his mandatory. Oh shit, man. This guy, Errol Spence, made this cherry-picking, bum-fighting fraud fight Golovkin. This guy's never taken a little bit of a chance in his career. Like, apart from Sean Porter, which is an anomaly, like, that was the only one. He avoided all these fighters, and all of a sudden now this guy's trying to beat Golovkin's undefeated record. This guy was trying to beat Golovkin, like, shit. 2 weight divisions he moved up. Trying to outdo what Amir Khan did. You know who did that? Aside from Amir Khan, like, you know who made him do that? Errol, the true Spence. Errol Spence is a real G. This guy, 147, made Kell Brook so scared of fighting him that he just went up to 160, ducked Errol Spence. Then the funny thing is, Kell Brook came back thinking he's gonna get some Amir Khan fight. He tried to put up his name up there by fighting Golovkin. He got some money too. This guy's balling, right? Errol Spence had other ideas, and also, you know, it's mainly due to Amir Khan. Errol Spence probably would have, if the Kell Brook Amir Khan fight would have gone on, Errol Spence would have probably fought. That title would have been stripped from Brook, and Errol Spence would have fought like some bum for that title. Like, it would be like a vacant title, and people wouldn't have given him credit. But I think Amir Khan knew what he was doing. I think Amir Khan. I think Al Heyman gave him some idea to do that, because, you know, that idea Amir Khan was probably happy with, and Al Heyman was probably happy with it, because another fighter on his list, Errol Spence, would also be happy with that, because he's begging for a title. He's wants the title shot, right? So there goes Errol Spence, right? Kell Brook would not take the 70-30 split. And I don't think they realized what's up, right? I don't think they realized. They were saying, right? They're trying to make the Amir Khan fight. And all of a sudden, as they're trying to make the Amir Khan fight, they were telling the IBF that, no, we're trying to recover from the injury. But meanwhile, and they're trying to get extensions, right? So they're trying to get extensions based on the injury. They should have negotiated it with Errol Spence, right? If they were like, so why were they negotiating with Amir Khan and not Errol Spence when Spence is your mandatory? But you also said you don't want to give up your title. And Amir Khan said 70-30 split, which he really deserves, because Kell Brook wanted to hold that title. That title would have been stripped, right? He wants to say, oh, I'm the world champion, I deserve more. Like, bullshit, you're going to get stripped anyway. That title wouldn't even be on the line. And even if the title was on the line, who the fuck you beat? Who the fuck you fought? Apart from Triple G and Sean Porter, little anomalies that you got on your record. But, you know, Amir Khan obviously gave him some credit for doing that. Without Amir Khan, the fight wouldn't have been made. Amir Khan made Kell Brook. Amir Khan gave Kell Brook more publicity than Eddie Hearn. He promoted Kell Brook more than his promoter. Amir Khan's a G. Errol Spence is a bigger G, because guess what? Actually, they're both a G's for doing this. I'm going to get into Amir Khan in a bit, but Errol Spence, man, he's a G. Guess what? Guess what Errol Spence did, right? Didn't let him off the hook. Kell Brook be like, yeah, I want to fight in Sheffield, this and that, everything on his side. He was so, look, Kell Brook can survive in what, the O2? This guy, right? He fought Triple G in the O2, right? I didn't get purchase tickets because I'm a student. I want to save money for investments. I'm making some money, right? I didn't actually work for anyone this year. Last year, I mean, my last term. It's my second year at university, because I just finished my third year, right? In my third year, I made more money than my second year. And in second year, I was actually working for people. In terms of having a job. In here, I didn't work for shit. I just worked for myself, making investment and shit. So, yeah, man, I went around the O2, near O2, and it was packed. Now, I actually didn't know. The Kell Brook fight was going to go on. And, you know, then I realized, wait, I heard there was a boxing event going on. And it's like packed. And I asked them, what boxing event is it? Right? Because I'm a boxing fan. I asked these fighters, right? I know these fans. And they're like, Kell Brook's fighting. Are you also coming as well? Who you think is going to win? I was like, I think Triple G is going to win. And, you know, from then I started making the prediction video. I took the train back near my home, and while going home, I just recorded it. That was really my first video. He went in the O2, right? He's from Sheffield. He's from Sheffield, England. He came here in O2 to fight Triple G, right? And obviously, when you fight in your home city, hometown, you get a better advantage, right? You feel like you got all the advantage almost. This guy dared to fight Triple G outside of Sheffield, but he couldn't dare to fight Errol Spence outside of Sheffield. He was more scared of Errol Spence than Triple G. And then, guess what? Triple G broke his face, and people were saying, oh, it's Triple G, that's why he broke his face. Errol Spence did the same shit at 147. Errol Spence came to the UK, said he will be another man down. He did what he said he would do. Kell Brook was talking all that stuff, and it's a fight game. You talk shit, but then Errol Spence backed it up like a real G. Man down indeed. Broke his face just like Triple G. It makes Kell Brook not look like shit to most people. Made Kell Brook quit too. I mean, obviously he broke his face. So, I don't mind Kell Brook not quitting, but damn, you still made Kell Brook quit. Kell Brook is one of the best fighters in the world. Kell Brook was scared of more of Triple G than Errol Spence, but Errol Spence kind of at 147 broke Kell Brook's face. It was the other eye. Errol Spence outdid Triple G. he really outdid Triple G. He actually dropped Kell Brook, outdid him completely. Like, obviously, Errol Spence took his time to stop him, but at 147, you did what Triple G did at 160 after struggling with Kell Brook. Man, Errol Spence a real G. And then he went back to America, eating some chocolate brownies. Man, Errol Spence, I rate him, man. I rate him.